news crossed this morning, when you see it, it's like, oh man, you know, and I'm sure it is more than just that for those who knew and loved Bob Uecker, who passed away today at the age of 90. What a life for this man. And, you know, born and raised in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and turned a 6-year career as a backup catcher hitting 200 into one of the greatest entertaining careers and broadcasting careers of all time. 54 seasons at the microphone for the Milwaukee Brewers. And then, of course, nationally, he would do a national broadcast for ABC, and his appearances on Johnny Carson. Laugh out loud funny. Go down to YouTube wormhole, folks. Johnny Carson dubbed him Mr. Baseball. And then the Miller Lite commercials where he must be in the front row, and then he would be in the front row, and the next thing you see, he's in the last row of the stadium.
I must be in the front row.
Mr. Belvedere, he did a sitcom for 6 years, seasons. And one of the most remarkable things about that, if you know, a sportscaster having a butler. That's odd. He did WrestleMania twice, WrestleMania 3 and 4, TJ. Did you know that?
Yeah, there's a...
He was the ring announcer for Hulk Hogan versus Andre the Giant.
There's a great segment where Andre wraps his huge hands around Uecker's neck and starts to choke him, and like his whole face is just enveloped. His whole head's just gone.
Right?
Andre's so big.
And the 2003 Ford Frick winner got into the Baseball Hall of Fame and Museum. And I'm sure most of you know him from Major League and Major League 2, where he played the announcer for Cleveland. And the most famous phrase where he would just bring his very sarcastic edge to the broadcast on a horrible pitch. He just said, just a bit outside. And, you know, I don't know how many times I say that out loud. We all say it out loud, right?
All the time.
Just a bit outside.
No, it's too high.
Oh, my gosh. But most importantly, and I never met him.
Oh,
No?
really?
No,
Wow.
never met him. But everybody who worked with him and knew him say, you do know him. The guy that you see on TV, the guy that you hear on the radio is exactly the guy you meet, except he's even better in person.
Wow.
And nicer in person and more inviting in person and lover of baseball and life and laughter. Damn it, we lost someone who is just so necessary for so many of us to listen to and remember, and
He left a lot of memories behind, though, man.
passed away at the age of 90 years old.
Wow.
Rest in peace, Bob Uecker. And we're still here on our Roku television side of things. Let's play it. Al Michaels came by and told a story of calling a game with Howard Cosell and Bob Uecker. Hit it.
Uecker and Cosell and I are doing a game in, I think it was Houston.
Okay.
And Howard, you know the way Howard was. He was, baseball's such a simple game. They make it so complicated. So it's a situation late in the game where Howard is calling for a bunt. Now, when somebody calls for a bunt in a situation where you can't bunt, you know they know nothing about baseball. So Uecker and I, you know, now Howard would be spewing all of this misinformation. And now Uecker's trying to, you know, explain to Howard carefully, you know, why you probably wouldn't bunt in this situation. So it's a little bit, he's chiding him minimally. And Cosell says on the air, he says, okay, Uecker, you know, you don't have to be so truculent. You do know what truculent means, don't you? And without hesitating, Uecker says, of course, Howard, if you had a truck and I borrowed it, it would be a truculent. And that is Bob Uecker.
Without skipping a beat?
Without skipping a beat. And the other thing with Uecker is we're doing a game. It's just the two of us are doing a game later that season. And Charlie Finley owns the A's, and he wants to introduce the alert orange baseballs, like the tennis balls. Sure. You can see them. So we start talking about it. The game is terrible, and we're going back and forth. And the Uecker finally says, look, the bottom line is this could never happen. I go, why not? He said, you couldn't find enough diseased horses. So I mean, how does a brain work like that?
Wow. Oh, so
I have a truculent.
You're so truculent. You know what truculent means. Yeah. You had a truck. You let me borrow it. It was a truculent.
That's amazing.
Just a bit outside. And I know this means this is just an absolute crusher for so many Brewers fans who wanted a World Series. And you'd see him in the locker room, right, with these celebrations. He was part of the celebrations. They brought him in the locker room. They were dousing him when they were winning the division or winning a playoff series and moving on and hoping that he would be part of a parade. And my gosh, what a life of entertaining people and bringing smiles to faces and telling stories and just being a regular guy and being famous for it. To his family and friends and extended baseball family, we send our heartfelt condolences. Bob Uecker, at the age of 90, rest in peace.